They're calling you?
And they're going to enter them on a Google form that'll pop up. Yeah. All right, welcome to the November 7th regular Board of Education meeting for Folsom Cordova Unified School District. In a moment, we will be heading into closed session, but first, Superintendent, will you call roll?
Absolutely. Mr. Clark.
Here.
Ms. Larrett.
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse. Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Huey.
Here.
Please note that Trustee Lofthouse is absent.
Thank you, Superintendent. In closed session, we will be discussing any of the following: student matters, employer-employee relations, conference with legal counsel, conference with real property negotiators, or personnel matters. We don't see any public comments here for closed session items. Are there any online? None online. In that case, we'll plan on being back at 6 p.m. for open session. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the November 7th regular Board of Education meeting, open session. We just got to close, so we're on item 4, open session, call back to order, and our land acknowledgement and pledge of allegiance. Ms. George, would you mind starting us off with the land acknowledgement?
As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Nishnawin and Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn.
We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nisenan ancestral tribes, the Esto, Natamuse, and the Nisam, and Pewanon to the north.
And the Miwok ancestral tribes and the Amachumne, the Kasumne, Halapumne, and the Mokalumne to the south along the Great Sacramento River system since time immemorial.
We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built was once flourishing with natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of these indigenous communities.
We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that have impacted these communities and recognize the resilience of their descendants who continue to thrive today.
In our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement, we commit to supporting, respecting, and honoring their culture, traditions, and lifeways.
We pledge to work together for the evolving vision of the Miwok and Nishinan, especially all future generations.
All right, thank you, Board. If you'll please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That brings us on to item 4C, broadcast statement. A broadcast and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. The recording will be cablecast as replays on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The recordings will also be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask the same in return. Any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, and or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 3 p.m. today to the board have been read. Per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter into a two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. And then to item D, roll call. Superintendent?
Ms. George.
Here.
Mr. Merrill. Mr. Clark.
Here.
Ms. Larrett.
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Huey.
Here.
Please note for the record that student board member Mr. Merrill is absent.
Thank you. Brings us then on to item 5, reporting out closed session. We have nothing to report out of closed session tonight. This brings us to item 6, adoption of agenda. Before we ask for a motion for that, Superintendent Swanson and myself had consulted and did want to make one change to the agenda. Superintendent, would you mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I would, with the board's approval, I would love to pull, when we're looking at the board policy 0410 and Board Policy 1312.3, and just postpone the review of that for 2 weeks until we come back on November 21st.
Great, so if there's no objection, with those changes, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move.
Motion by Mr. Clark, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Larrett. Superintendent?
Ms. George,
So sorry.
okay.
Second by Ms. Lofthouse.
there we go. Ms. George,
Aye.
Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Ms. Larrett,
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse,
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Hui.
Aye,
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you. I think I almost made it all year. And then I don't know if I'd made a mistake before that, but
I think it's happened a couple of times.
my apologies. All right, brings us to item 7, agenda consent. We'll be voting on the agenda consent. Any public comment for agenda consent, we will take right now. So is there any public comment for agenda consent? No, okay. I don't see any in person. There's none online. So do we have a motion to approve the agenda consent?
I would move that we approve agenda consent except for item F, that we pull that and vote on that separately.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. So is a motion to approve agenda consent with the exception of item F by Mr. Reed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Larrett. It's in my head now. Superintendent?
Ms. George,
Aye.
Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Ms. Larrett,
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse,
Aye.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Hui.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And then we will go on to item F, approve expulsion recommendation, case number 2425-3S. Just a reminder, the board won't be commenting on this because of the nature of the item, and it's also been removed, so Ms. George can abstain. Do we have a motion to approve item F?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Reed. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Clark.
Ms. George. Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Ms. Larrett.
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse.
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Hui.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And with the adoption of the agenda consent, I believe we do have an introduction.
We do. I'd like to welcome Coach Hutchins up to the lectern. Coach Hutchins was just approved by this board to be the next head varsity baseball coach at Vista Del Lago. We're pleased to welcome Matt Hutchins. He has coached baseball for 12 years at the high school level and has played baseball for Sierra College and Chico State. Most recently, he was an operations manager for Hard 90 Baseball Academy, in charge of player development, strength and conditioning, and was the fall ball coach already for Vista Del Lago. Coach Hutchins is dedicated to helping players develop essential skills to achieve their goals on the field and in life. He values the impact of a strong team culture and is committed to building an environment that competes at the highest level. Quote, I've had the privilege of playing for championship teams that focused on a process, a goal, and a deep respect for the hard work it takes to succeed. That experience taught me the formula for success, and now I'm excited to pass it on to help others excel. He challenges players to push beyond their limits and always reminds them to embrace the process, be great teammates, and aim for steady improvement each day. Please join us in congratulating Coach Hutchins as the new head varsity baseball coach at Vista Del Lago. Coach?
So typically a person that lets my work do the talking. I just want to keep this short, but thank the district for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this team. It's a team that has a reputation for requiring excellence and expecting excellence. And I'm going to work hard every day to uphold that standard. Vista is a program that has many bricks already down. I'm excited to add to those bricks, get them to the next level, and move forward to what we achieved in the fall, and hopefully bring us a championship. So
Perfect.
Excited, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Great, thank you. And
Thanks,
welcome
Coach.
once again.
Appreciate it. Go Eagles.
All right, welcome. Glad to have you here. That'll move us on to item 8, special presentations, which we have none. So we'll go to item 9, public comment. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items. I believe we do have one comment from Earl Smith. Mr. Smith, welcome.
Good evening, Board, President Hui, Mr. Swanson. I think I got that now. Yeah, Faith's not here tonight. She is with the ARC Jazz Big Band performing. They also performed on Tuesday in the Student Center. She's playing violin in the Jazz Big Band. Folsom High says no violin in a Jazz Big Band. You actually do your history, you'll find that there has been countless violinists in Jazz Big Band and lots of music thereof. Last night, the ARC Jazz Choir also performed. So it's been a busy week for me. So Faith, once again, performed with the ARC Jazz Choir. I too was there. So once again, I've had some parents tell me they're having a hard time following me. So what is our agenda? Our agenda is simple. When a student goes to school, a high school, when their students are required to take core curricular classes, CDE says it is up to the students' interest on what classes they take or what subject they want to explore. However, students who go to Folsom High and have an interest in music go to Folsom High with 5 years of music behind their belt that this district provides to them. So why is it when they get to the high school level, students are denied from the subject that they choose of jazz? Found the framework and the standards laid down by the CDE. Folsom High is violating those standards. Just clear. CDE provided a training, a pamphlet that says the students get to choose. You may have an advanced class, but you're also required to have at least an intermediate class, that the students who don't make an advanced class must be put in the intermediate. So one thing Dr. Huber had said to me was, well, you're a musician, you're a professional musician, you have this studio, you can provide opportunity for your daughter. What I can't do is provide a big band. Can't do that. And even at ARC, jazz choir is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, while students at Folsom High, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So she's still missing days of training. Big band, they say, no, you can't even play violin. So once again, when we look at the surrounding schools, they do provide an intermediate level. They do provide beginner level. The students do get the opportunity to move forward in the instrument of their choice, in the subject of their choice. That needs to be implemented at Folsom High. And that is the reason and what we are looking to change at Folsom High. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I don't see any other in-person comments, none online. All right, thank you. We'll go on to item 10, reports of district organizations, starting with the Student Advisory Board.
So we did not have a meeting today, but we're going to have one next week for Student Advisory Board. But before that, we chose, or we had a meeting with all the members we chose, and I think we talked about last time how we're giving more positions out to all the kids. So all of that has been chosen. Those results have come in, and we held the cabinet meeting, and that went very well. And we got started on the newspaper like yesterday. Yeah, yesterday we were talking about that, so we can get that going. And Kayla is the lead of that, and she's from Cordova High School, and that's been going very well. And we have like the Google form where other kids can submit their entries who are part of the committee, and so it will be like a district-wide thing. So that's very fun. And right after the cabinet meeting, we talked about how we need to, or our big project that we wanted to start off with is a clothing drive, a district-wide clothing drive, especially for winter. So we need to get started on that, and our meeting next Thursday is going to be at Mitchell. So yes, that's all for the Student Advisory Board.
Thank you so much. California School Employees Association. I don't see Mr. Korn. Is there no report? Okay. Folsom Cordova Education Association.
Very short today. Good evening, family, board members, staff, teachers present, and everybody online. A huge thank you to Rancho Cordova community for passing measures R and S, once again showing their support and dedication to the community staff, and most importantly, our students. Still waiting on the final results of our board members. FCA would like to applaud all the candidates for their interest and willingness to take the time to support our students and communities. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Good evening. Might be a little longer. Good evening, Superintendent Swanson, Board President Hui, and members of the board. This evening, I am honored to highlight Angie Carlamagno for her outstanding dedication to education and literacy, and to highlight the significant impact she has made in our community. On October 14th, Angie and her team organized an exceptional professional development event that brought together 22 elementary schools and hundreds of teachers. This event featured comprehensive training on the new art and science of teaching, math and literacy with ELD, and assessment training with Sarah Staubach, and the focus on working within a strong PLC or professional learning community framework ensured that the training was cohesive and very impactful. The feedback from the administrators was overwhelmingly positive. They consistently expressed how the training directly supports their efforts at their schools and ultimately benefiting all of our students. Angie's leadership and vision in orchestrating such a large-scale and effective event are truly commendable. Angie's commitment to education goes beyond organizing events. If you know her, organizing is. She is passionate advocate for literacy and continually seeks innovative ways to engage students in improving their learning outcome. Her dedication to professional development for teachers ensures that our educators are well equipped with the latest strategies and knowledge to support student success. I believe that Angie's contributions deserve recognition and appreciation. Her tireless efforts and unwavering commitment to education and literacy have made a profound difference in Folsom Cordova. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Prieston. A great report. Appreciate that. District English Learner Advisory Committee.
Good evening, President Hui, members of the board, Superintendent Swanson, and my esteemed colleagues. I do have a report today for DLAC, a couple of things. One of the events that DLAC puts on is the Parent Summit. So we had our first one for the year, and certainly not the first one in the district. This has now exceeded the 10-year mark on the Parent Summits. Lots of information is shared over the years, but we had the opportunity to feature our new and host our new superintendent, Mr. Swanson, at the Parent Summit. There was a number of things that were on the agenda, but we opened up our morning on Saturday, November 2nd at Rancho Cordova, and we had close to about 70 family members participate. It was a nice full house in there, but we were really excited to feature the warm demander discussion and opportunity to discuss and share with each other those warm demanders that have shaped who we are today or continue to support us in our challenges and our successes. So thank you for that, Mr. Swanson. We also featured the Parent Square. It was exciting to look around the room. And Angela Griffin, thank you for your presentation. I was excited to see how many parents were already using it. So that has already taken hold. Parents, it was positive feedback. One thing that I want to mention is this was our maiden voyage in a large group with the ILA. And if you don't know what ILA is, it is our communication system that provides translation. There is definitely some glitches to overcome, but it was overwhelmingly, for the most part, received positively. We had an opportunity for members of many languages to experience the event and understand and participate. So that was definitely worth the challenge, and we'll continue to look to continue to use the resources, whether it's human resources or technical resources, to support the dialogue and the partnership that we have with families and with each other. Additionally, we did a little bit of some quick discussions around budget and the layers of budget funding. This is something that's important that we share with our parent community as their students generate the additional resources in our district. Therefore, they also have a requirement and an opportunity to have say and to provide advice and even to approve funding and some of this through the school programs. And so it is not only a responsibility, but we take an opportunity to help them understand the many layers of funding. And a fun activity, if you've been there before, that usually looks like layers of cake and how they stack on top of each other for different reasons. So we had an opportunity to do that with the families. We ended our day with some really great activities through the expanded learning. That was our featured program. We had the privilege of having Denise Earle and Brianna Gold, who are district supervisors for the expanded learning program, in addition to Daniela Shad, who is a site leader at Folsom Hills, provide activities. They had the parents moving and shaking. We had a lot of movement and activity going on in the room. And I think that overall, there was a lot of positive feedback. Happy to share the surveys results, but that was our Saturday at Parent Summit. Our next Saturday is a data walk. It's a little different mood, but definitely very much engaging, where we get to look at data after the dashboard comes out. And that Parent Summit will be February 1st, 2025. So I know it seems like it's out there a ways, but as this year has gone, it'll be here in a quick hurry. And I'll end with that our next DLAC is January 7th. So thank you, and that's our report.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Cabrera.
Could I make a quick comment on that?
Of course.
I attended the parent summit, and watching the translation services was amazing. I think the parents seemed to be much more engaged. They were having translation in real time. And so I think we were able to pack more into the meeting because we weren't, speaking and then having it translated. And so I think for them, they just felt, I think, a lot more connected in the process of things. And there was questions about when I go to a site, what can I do? And so that, I think they feel more that there's access even when they go to a site, that they're going to be able to have better communication, better customer service. So amazing job. I think it was probably one of the best ones I've been to. I mean, every time I go to one, I always learn something that I did not know about our district. And as a parent, that's very helpful. So great job to the team, but fabulous on the translation service. Was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I'll follow up with that as well. The board may remember we did purchase these devices that sit in the front offices for that to be able to access. And when we initially adopted them, we had talked about this opportunity for parents in big rooms to scan the QR code, and then like the United Nations to have the headsets on and listen. And that's what happened. The team, so Angela Griffin and David Stone from communications, and then David Stone from technology, worked the week before to make sure that we were all set to go. And there was a couple little tech glitches. Mostly my phone, to be honest, kept kicking me out. But other than that, it worked really well. So all the parents either had headphones or you could read it, because it's like AI is just translating it on the screen for them at the time. And there was an employee, and I forget her name, but she's at Mitchell Middle School, and she does a lot of work, I think, with their ELAC. And she had said that this is incredible. And so Angela and David are meeting soon. They may be pulling Ed Services in to design a professional development, so all sites are really clear on how to just loop that into any of their parent meetings moving forward, because it was a real game changer. You could see them responding in real time as I'm speaking in English. They have headphones on, and my amazing jokes, they would laugh at the same time as my joke.
I do want to say one of the things that things like this does is when you rely on someone, most of us, it's human nature to not want to ask for help and to feel like you're burdening someone. And so we do have translation through human resources, and that is always going to be available, because that provides a different, if you will, level of customer services, if you will, white glove maybe. But what this does is it allows a parent to have that conversation in a more casual and confident way that they might have not thought to ask for help with. Those moments where you can just engage in a conversation without having to make an appointment. And I think that built a different level of confidence. So thank you for the feedback. Again, thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, on to item 11, discussion action. Start with item A, approve proposed Folsom secondary boundary modification for the 2025-2026 school year.
Yeah, I'll jump in and Mr. Washburn, if I leave anything out, please feel free to come off mute. So for the board's consideration this evening is a proposal to change the boundaries for the Blanche Sprentz Elementary School community. And I'll give a little bit of history that's included in the rationale, but I'll pull out some highlights. So we've done a really good job. I'm really happy with the team's work on making sure that we're engaging with the community. And so a survey was sent this October 15th to get some feedback. And then a public forum was held at Blanche Sprentz on October 24th, in which about 45 parents attended. The team did a really good job organizing, for us in teaching and learning. Like pedagogically, there was a Four Corners activity, so all the parents had an opportunity to share what was on their mind as it related to the boundaries for their students. And then the school boundary committee convened on October 30th to take the survey data and take the data that was garnered from the feedback that was garnered from the in-person engagements at Blanche Sprentz. And what you see is the revised proposed policy towards the bottom of the rationale. So effective, the proposal is starting next school year, that we would return to secondary open enrollment for the Blanche Sprentz attendance area. Students can register at either of the Folsom middle school, high school feeder patterns. We would shift both the middle and high school boundaries back to Folsom Middle and Vista del Lago, which would not change the open enrollment policy. So I'll be really clear about that. The boundaries on paper are switching back to Folsom Middle and Vista del Lago. So if we have a fifth grade family that just says, tell us where to go, they would then go to those schools. But every family currently enrolled in our secondary schools or currently enrolled at Blanche Sprentz or soon to be enrolled at Blanche Sprentz would have the choice of the either Folsom secondary feeder pattern. And then the last bullet, I'll cover the transportation before I get to this. So we would follow the transportation services based on our guidelines. And then we'll review all boundary decisions when the new high school is open south of Highway 50. But what I'll say for this is that's not just for Blanche Sprentz. Of course, when a new high school opens, all boundaries are considered at that moment in time. So are there any, Matt, did I leaving? Okay, good. Okay. Is there any questions from the board on that?
Ms. Reed?
Yeah, quick question. So if a student was at Blanche, if the parent indicates they want to go to Folsom Middle, can they then go to Folsom High, or are they committing to the pathway? So if one parent says, I want my child to go to Sutter, and another parent says, I want my child to go to Folsom Middle, are those two parents committing that child to Sutter, then Folsom High, or Folsom Middle, then Vista del Lago?
Good evening. Since it's open enrollment, they would be committing to the school that they're at, but I don't think that means the pathway. Once they go to Folsom Middle, then if they want to choose to go to Folsom High School, I believe they would have that opportunity because it is open enrollment. They can enroll there. Once they do enroll that school, then they would continue on to that school.
What about vice versa? What about the student that
Same
goes?
way, it's open enrollment, so they could register whichever school. They're considered a resident student within either one, so they could, well, for technically, it would be in the Folsom Middle School and that, but they are considered open enrollment, so they could register either school.
And part of this change was designed to alleviate some of the overcrowd. Well, I guess we're not technically overcrowded yet at Folsom High School. And with the Vista students population starting to slowly decline, do we think that a significant number of parents will take advantage of this to create?
I think there'll be more that are. I mean, some actually go there now. They would do request to go there, and some are in there. But I think it will allow more of the opportunity. So I don't see less. I would see more, which is good because of what you just stated, that there will be some decline in that area.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Any other questions?
Not a question, just a comment. I just wanted to say I appreciate taking in the feedback of the families. I know that there was a lot of concern just because this was one of the more recent changes already with the same population. So I just want to express gratitude to ensuring there wasn't a lot of change for the Blanche families again. So thank you.
I'm not seeing any other questions from the board. I don't see any questions in person from comments. Any online? There are none online. So we'll bring it back to the board for any final comments or a motion. Mr. Reed?
Yeah. When I originally asked for this item, I didn't realize it was that long ago, January of 2022. Blanche Sprints was just one of the issues I was concerned about on the secondary. Actually, I had raised elementary as well, and we took care of elementary already. But my concern still remains with the growing population at Folsom High School. We are probably just maybe a year away from breaking the 3,000 student mark. And with obviously the population growth out south of 50 and having all of the students south of 50 feeding Folsom High School, I think it's not if, it's when, it will cross that 3,000 mark. And I know Folsom High School, I believe it can go up to 3,300. Does that include hot seating when it goes to 30?
There will be including some hot seating as we start getting up, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if the suggested agenda items, I don't know if the entire, what I was hoping would be discussed has been discussed. We certainly have covered Blanche Sprints, and I think that was something that we needed to because of the action we took back in 2019 when we moved them off of their historic feeder pattern. So I'm happy that we're about to take care of that. But I still think the issue about the population size at Folsom High School is still something we need to talk about, including the south of 50 feeder patterns. And the possibility of maybe we need to potentially look at stopping interdistrict transfers to Folsom High School. I've had a number of parents who have spoken to me who are very concerned with the size at Folsom High School, the perception, I don't know if it's a reality, but the perception that their students aren't able to get into certain classes because of the size of the high school. Again, the perception, I don't know if it's a reality, that their children can't make certain sports teams because of the size of the campus. So I don't know if I guess maybe this is at the end of the meeting where I suggest future agenda items, but I would like to see further conversation come back to the board on the secondary feeder patterns outside of the Blanche Sprints one.
I will say that that is true. We have to start looking at other options like decreasing or not allowing interdistrict transfers. Like all schools, if a school is full, could be overflowed to other schools. I think kind of it is seeing how the patterns go. We want to be careful not to make too many changes, then every year make another change. That's why we said until the new high school opens, and see how many kids end up going over the schools and evaluate that. And then if we can adjust things as we move forward to make sure that we're doing it right, we're not making changes every year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Reed. I have a note there for suggested future agenda items. We'll make sure we come back to that during that time if that's something you want to put on there. Any other comments from the board? And if not, motion to approve the item.
I'll move.
Motion for Mr. Reed.
I'll second.
Second for Ms. Lofthouse.
Ms. George?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Great. Thank you, board. All right, on to item B, approve revised board policies. With the two that have been removed, we'll have board policy 1312.3, uniform complaint procedures, board policy 4030, non-discrimination in employment, and board policies 4111, 4211, 4311, recruitment and selection. Superintendent, I'll hand these over to you, but also, if there are any questions from the board, if there's no further comment from you, then.
Yeah, making sure clear, the two that were pulled were 0410 and 1312.3 for the November 21st. But the other are brought forward by the policy committee for your consideration.
Thank you for the clarification. Yeah. Any questions from the board?
We vote on these together, or do we have to do it one at a time?
We
can do
can
them
do it
together.
together.
Okay, good.
I'm not hearing any questions from the board. I don't see any in-person public comment. Do we have any online? None online. So back to the board for any final comments, questions, or a motion.
I move.
Motion by Mr. Reed. We have
No
a
second.
Second by Mr. Clark.
Ms. George?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. On to item 12, discussion. Item A, high school graduation schedule update.
Yeah, so this was on our future agenda item, so we're bringing this back to the board today to talk about and get your direction related to the two high schools that we have. We have a very traditional, for years, high school graduation rhythm where Folsom High School graduates on Thursday night, and then Vista del Lago and Cordova graduate on Friday night together, not together, but at the same time. And there has been interest by the board to bring this back to consider decoupling the overlap so that the board and staff could attend all the graduations. For the 2025 graduation, that is not possible based on it is in the spring of the prior year that you're making all your requests and reservations to make sure everything. There's a lot, it's like a wedding, right? There's a lot that goes in to pulling off an amazing graduation, and our schools are all locked and loaded for 2025. So as it relates to the potential graduation year 2026, I just want to I want some direction from the board as it relates to meeting with Cordova High School and Vista del Lago's leadership around the possibility of decoupling, and then what that would look like. Would that be a Wednesday night graduation? Would that be a Saturday night? Like, what would that actually look like? I will say, I haven't heard anything about interest in that from the school communities. It's probably not top of mind right now. I'm a parent of a senior myself. I'm not necessarily worried. I don't even know what day in May that my daughter's graduating, but when the time comes, it will be a topic of discussion. I haven't heard any interest on separating the Fridays from either community, but I do want to receive some direction from the board about pursuing the potential of decoupling and moving one of the two high schools off of their Friday spot into a new spot.
Are there any questions from the board?
Mr. President.
Yeah, Mr. Clark.
Boy, how long has that been since I've been requesting that? And I'm glad that I mean, that's been years. So here's the deal. I'm hoping that I get a consensus from the board that we move forward and see if we can kind of separate Vista and Cordova. I'm more for the Wednesday for either school, only because it's traditionally, and correct me if I'm wrong, Board Member Reed, that kind of leads into Memorial Day weekend. I could be wrong, or it's the weekend after, but I would probably lean towards it being like on a Wednesday instead of a Saturday. I mean, most parents, after their kids graduate, they're usually taking a trip or something like that. But I'm glad that we're finally moving forward and looking at some alternatives to make sure that, the board can make all the graduation ceremonies. So hopefully there's a consensus from the board that we move forward to try to separate those days.
Yeah, and Board Member Clark, I think, my gosh, you've been on the board for 8 years. I think you've been asking for it for 8 years.
I have.
And I'm a strong supporter of that as well. I acknowledge the fact that this, to a certain degree, is a convenience for the boards, because I know the board very much enjoys attending these graduation ceremonies. So if it's not disruptive to the school community, I agree with Board Member Clark. It would be great if we could do a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Obviously, we have a future problem when we have another comprehensive high school, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. The other potential solution, by the way, and I don't know if this has ever been brought forward, I know that Folsom High School starts their graduation later than the others. I think Folsom High starts at 7 p.m. And I want to say that Vista starts at 5 or 6, and Cordova High starts at 5 or 6. I think they're off by an hour. Another possibility is could one of the high schools be pushed back to a 7 o'clock start, similar to how Folsom High starts at 7, and then the other one starts at 5? It might be tight, but at least it would give the possibility of getting between two sites on the same day. Just a suggestion. I still like getting it on a different day, but if the different day doesn't work, if you could at least create some space between the two, that might be another solution.
So Board Member Reed, do you think, okay, if we started at 5 and the other one starts at 7, normal 7:30?
I don't know, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, it might.
Well, normal graduation ceremony is what, about an hour and a half, maybe an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. I don't know if that would be enough time to, let's say if it's Cordova and Vista, would that be enough time? Take in account the traffic either going up 50 or down 50 into Rancho. So, I mean, I still like the Wednesday portion of it, but I mean, if we think it's doable to do both on the same day, maybe, I don't know how parents would feel starting it like at 7:30. And they'll be done by 9. I don't know, but either way works for me.
That's a good point. We might have board members having speeding tickets in
Well,
mass.
plus I'm not that fast of a driver, so it would probably take me about a good 45 minutes to get there anyway. But yeah, I just, if we can maybe move it to 7:30 if we're going to do it on the same night.
I think it's going to be a bit of a brutal day for us too, because we also have
Middle school.
schools in the morning. So I think trying to do a middle school and then 2 high schools on the same day might be a little bit if we got to do it, we're up for the challenge, I think, but that could make for a really long day. And I hesitate to move the other school too early too, because trying to be in a stadium at 4 o'clock or something like that is like ridiculously hot for those families. So, so that's still, I would probably advocate for a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday if we could make that work.
I just have a couple questions, and we do have a public comment, so I want to get to back before we bring it back to the board. Superintendent, you mentioned you haven't heard from any community members advocating for this change. Have you heard from any admin at any of these schools advocating for the change?
No.
Have you heard from any staff at the schools advocating for the change?
No.
Have you heard from any students at the schools advocating for the change? Okay. We have one public comment from Stan Jones. Mr. Jones, welcome.
I didn't plan to say anything, but I have some input from a long time ago when I graduated from high school. I graduated in the Richmond Unified School District, which is where Tony Thurmond was a former director. We had 4 high schools. And the way they did it was graduation on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the next year, the schools rotated. So I when I graduated in 1962, I was on Thursday night at the very end. That's a thought that it's a nice idea. Now here's another thought that maybe no one has thought of, or no one has thought to share with you yet, is that I have a situation where I have 2 ninth graders, grandchildren, and they are in different high schools in the same district. And I could encounter a situation of, do I go to Julio's graduation, or how do I deal with, Vanessa? And so you have that if no one has thought to share that with you. Not that they don't have that thought, they just haven't gotten to it. And they've adjusted because you've told them that these 2 middle schools are having their 8th grade promotion on the very same time, and you have to choose. And it's not necessarily that you're going to have 2 high schools students graduating at the same school on the same night which I did. In 1991 at Cordova High School, I had 2 students graduating in the same class, which worked out great. But it wouldn't have worked out great had one of them gone to Folsom High School and one of them gone to Cordova, and you have it scheduled on the same night. So that's my thought on that.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. And Tracy Suter.
When I saw this on the agenda, my first reaction was probably a selfish one, because as a longtime high school teacher, my first thought was, we're required to go to graduation. I don't think I would be very excited to go to a Saturday graduation as part of my job descriptor. But even moving to a Wednesday starts to create cascading effects, like when do they take their finals? And how do you handle that curriculum shift? So I applaud the board for wanting to be at all the graduations. I think that's an incredible asset to our district to try to accomplish that. But as we continue the conversation, in addition to staff, families, and students, I think they all are going to be part of, if there is a way to solve this, they need to be part of that solution. And I don't know that my colleagues at the high school would be super excited about this Saturday, but maybe the Wednesday is worth some further discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's all the online, or in-person comments. I see, do we have any online? None online. I'll bring it back to the board for more comments. Mr. Reed.
Yeah, Superintendent, do other districts do high school graduations in the morning, or are they usually traditionally in the afternoon, evening?
I have one example that, yes, I do know that Elk Grove Unified graduates 9 high schools, but they're all at the same venue. They're all at Golden One. Okay. And they graduate 3 on Monday, 3 on Tuesday, 3 on Wednesday, 11 a.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m. And so, and the last day of school is Thursday of that week. And so for Tracy, for this finals for seniors, it's the week prior. But I don't know if that works in our system, but that's how Elk Grove Unified. That's just one example that I know. I don't know of any others specifically.
I can say that Sac City does the same thing at, I want to say Rayleigh Field, Sutter Health Park, where they will have 4 high schools graduate on the same day.
Just staggered.
Yeah.
It is, the 6 o'clock at night tends to be pretty toasty on most years. Some people may actually find that a refreshing solution is maybe look at a morning graduation. But ultimately, I think it's really for the staff to look at and make a recommendation. And I guess worst case scenario, if it doesn't work for a various reason, then obviously you're trying to accommodate the board. And I think what President Hui was trying to point out was we're the only ones who are asking for this. So, if there's a way to make it work, I think the board would be very appreciative. But if for academic or, logistics, it doesn't work out, then, I guess that's something the board will just have to deal with. Yeah.
Well, you've made my point for me. But I mean, I guess from 2 sides here. One is as a board member, I do think I wouldn't, I'm not in favor of this really because of that. We're asking for accommodation for 5 people. We're asking literally thousands of people to accommodate that. And I know at least in my house, I had last year, a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior at Vista. That means I'm going to be going through this graduation many times the next few years. Last year we had people, my parents flying in. There are a lot of plans that go into this. I know for me, a Wednesday would not be nearly as convenient as a Thursday or Friday. I wouldn't want to do a Saturday either, or even a Saturday. And there's a tradition with both these schools that this is how it goes. So, asking those communities to make this change so that, any of us can go to one of those graduations seems like it's a lot to ask. I get that it would, it's nice to be able to go to them, but I just would maybe have us pump the brakes on this a little bit before we hear, from the school communities what they think. So So mostly it's that. As a board member, I think, we ought to hear from the community. As a parent, I would advocate for, please don't move to a Wednesday night, or a morning, or an afternoon where it's going to be 105 degrees. So it's it gets cool by the end of it. It starts very hot, most of these. So that's where I come from. I would not right now be in favor of moving this forward until we've heard from some folks at the school sites and from families and students.
I agree, Mr. President. I think for me, it might be a selfish thing because, if I'm like building relationships with families and students throughout the years, let's say Russell Ranch or Empire Oaks, and they're graduating from Vista, and I've watched these kids and going through, elementary and middle school and high school, and it's like, well, Mr. Clark, are you coming to my graduation? No, I can't. I'm going to Cordova. It's the same night. I mean, so for me, it was kind of personal, but I think on the other hand, to see all 5 board members at a graduation kind of means a lot to the community because they're all there. In my past 8 years, I think, I've gone to Vistas, but it just so happened to be during a COVID year and I couldn't because it was a drive-through. But would I like to go to a Vista graduation? Yes, but obviously, I'm more Cordova, and I know the kids better there, but I do, and I have seen kids at Folsom I've been to Folsom, but Vista, saying, are you coming to my graduation? And it's just so, to me, it's kind of a personal thing. But again, like I said, I think it would be great if all of the board members can go. And I apologize, Saturday is not good. So I know that graduations are kind of a special occasion, and, sometimes parents will make the adjustment to their work schedule or whatever to attend a graduation. Many years ago when Christina graduated, and at that time I was a single dad and I was working out of town, I mean, I had to make that adjustment to, get to the school and see her graduate, even though it was a bad night. So that was just my input on it. I will support whatever the board decides to do, but I think it's worth looking at.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we have until the spring till we need to really know this. So I'm wondering if the board's okay with it. We put this back to the district staff to get a little more information from the schools, and if it's something that you can bring a recommendation or another discussion back whenever it makes sense, February, March, something like that. Something where we have plenty of time to make that call for that following school year. If everybody's good with that? Okay, great. Thank you, board. All right, then on to item 13, information. This is item A, School Resource Officers Update Quarterly Report. This is an information item only, but certainly willing to take any questions from the board if they do have them. I believe there's a presentation attached to this?
Yeah, there's a short deck. I'll give some context. First of all, thanks to DT and Dawn and their teams for preparing this quarterly report. There's information included in the attached slide deck. I will also mention that some of that's included in the deck came from our May 2nd board meeting. There were a couple questions that the board had at that meeting. One, Trustee Clark had asked if the language in the contract, because it said at least one, would include, say, 2, and that is present. And then there was a question from Trustee Lofthouse around training. And I was going to list, there's some trainings included on slide 2 of the deck, but specifically I asked DT for attendance. And I have just a few bullets here on this. The last school threat assessment training was held on October 14th of this year, and both SROs from Rancho Cordova and their sergeant attended that. At the last Safety Advisory Committee meeting, which was on October 2nd, the Rancho Cordova Police Department SROs and their sergeant also attended. Last school year, the Folsom Police Department SROs attended a risk assessment for Folsom High School put on by Homeland Security. And the district hosts a quarterly in-person meeting with all the SROs. the most recent quarterly meeting, Rancho Cordova SROs attended, that Folsom Police Department was unavailable. And then next week, an SRO from Rancho Cordova Police Department will be attending the school safety conference in Las Vegas with our district safety team. So that gets to the training part of that question. So that's all I have for this information. I'd be happy for me or the team to answer any other questions.
Any questions from the board on this?
Just for clarification, so the threat assessment team training, I'm assuming that that is the active shooter training, or am I wrong?
Good evening, everyone. DT Martin, just for the folks that are not in the room with us, Coordinator Safe Schools. The threat assessment team training concentrates more so on threats that come to a campus involving an individual student, or maybe a threat that a student has proposed to the campus. And it's a way of attacking that threat by using counselors, by using administration, by using law enforcement. So it's kind of a team approach to kind of addressing, that threat and providing some services to the family, but also some services to the school itself as well.
Okay, so I know we have had active shooter training.
Oh, yes, sir.
And are we going to continue with that? I mean,
we continue with active shooter training.
And how often?
We've had it twice this year, in the October and the August session. Yes, and we provided also to schools that want that individual training to kind of identify some of the gaps that they may have that's specific to their campus.
Okay, so clarification, twice a year it happens, or does it happen more than that?
Well, we've done it twice this year. So
okay,
yes,
awesome.
Any other questions, Mr. Clark?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So my initial question regarding training was if there was any specific training for these officers that are geared towards students, and for example, trauma-informed practices with students or counseling practices with students, where I'm hearing like the school safety trainings and all of these are probably things they're quite familiar with, being police officers. So my question is what specific training do our SROs receive that are geared towards working with youth and working with students pre-K through 12th grade?
Outside of the academy, it would actually be up to the individual departments to facilitate some of that training.
Do we have any of that information of what our SROs receive?
Not today.
Okay,
We
that's what I would
that.
love information on.
Okay, so we get that.
All right, Ms. Superintendent Swanson, you got that. We'll grab that
Yeah,
information and bring it back.
I'll just reiterate, just so I'm clear, definitely interested in learning what training our SROs have received that more like from an educator's perspective on the social emotional learning aspects of, I heard trauma-informed, I heard, yeah.
I mean, we're putting these officers on campus with our students, and what I'm hearing and have seen is that they are very well trained as police officers.
Mm-hmm.
But my question and concern is, are they trained to work with our students? Because we are putting them with our students, not the everyday stuff, being around children, things like that. But I want to know, like, these are our most at-risk students, most likely, that they're going to be interacting with. So I want to know, how are they trained to work with these students?
We'll get you that info.
Thank you. Okay, not hearing anything else, an information item only, so there's no other comments. We'll move on to item 14.
Thank you, DT.
All right, item 14, Superintendent's Report. Superintendent Swanson.
Yeah, just a few brief comments. First and foremost, would love to, and I know it's early, but I just want to thank the SFID 4 community for all their support. Jeanette continues to steal my thunder with her comments, and I know it's still early, but just them coming out in support of the students and the community is overwhelming. So I want to thank the team here that worked so hard to make sure that everyone had the right information to make an informed decision. So next up, I would like to thank all of our veterans, including Trustee Clark and all those who work in our system and don't, that are out there serving our country currently and retired for their service. we enjoy a day off in their honor on this Monday. I would also like to wish for a speedy recovery for our student board member, Van Merrill, who's missing. Van broke his collarbone playing soccer. I have permission from his mother. I got today to mention that at the dais. He is okay. He is having surgery next Wednesday. Van, if you're out there, where's the camera? Get well soon. He's planning on being back on the 21st. And I asked his mom, and she assured me that, yes, in fact, he did get his application into Stanford. So we're okay. So the train keeps pushing. So Van, get well soon. And lastly, it's not today, but our president of FCLA just had a very important birthday. So I want to say happy birthday, Kanan, to you, sir. Yeah, 25. Good job, brother. Yeah. And that is all for my comments today.
Thank you so much. On to item 15, board member committee reports. We'll start with Ms. George.
I do not have too much for today, but I was talking to, we were talking about the fences that are being put up at Folsom High School, me and Mr. Reed, before the meeting started, and those are going well. It's almost done, and the kids are adjusting to it, and talking about the resource officers, a concern that they had before was the fact that they had to wear the uniforms, like the bright green vest this year, and they didn't really like it, but I think it's okay now. Now they have blue vests, so it's much more Bulldog attire. It's not bright green, so that's good, and that's really all that's going on that I can think of right now, and I will not be in attendance at the next board meeting. So I've made a prior commitment, so I thought I would let you guys know about that. So yeah, that's all.
Well, thank you for letting us know, and thank you for the report. Ms. Lefthouse?
I have no report this evening.
Ms. Larrett?
I have no report.
All right, Mr. Reed?
Yes. Earlier today, I represented the board at the Folsom City 2x2. That we have, every other month usually, give or take. The items that were discussed in this morning's meeting, we discussed the potential for a district-wide bond in 2026. We also kind of did a little discussion about the city's recent experience with Measure G, not the district's Measure G, the city's Measure G, which was on the ballot this week, which did not fare very well. We also discussed south of 50 facilities that we would be looking at building in the future. And we also talked about Prospect Park, which is the park that is adjacent to Mangini Ranch, which is apparently going to open officially in December. They're just waiting for, I guess, a circuit breaker or something from SMUD. But so we're a month away from that park opening, which is great news. And that is my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Clark?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The month of November, we are celebrating Native American Heritage Month. I want to say congratulations to the Committee on Measures R and S, as well as California Measure 2. They both passed, so I know Board Member Reed had made a comment about a shovel. Let's get the shovels out and start digging and start modernizing these schools in Rancho Cordova. I want to say congratulations to student board member Mia. She starts her new endeavor as the youth president for Hands for Hope. I look forward to work. You didn't think I knew about that, huh?
I think I've been president for a little bit.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Well, I look forward to working with you, and I know that you'll do great things on that board. Again, to all the veterans out there, happy Veterans Day. Don't forget Monday to celebrate your day. And like me, I'm going to go out and enjoy some free meals. So, yeah, so that's my report for tonight.
Thanks, Mr. Clark. All right. A very quick report tonight. I just wanted to thank Martha and Rochelle for trying out some new things tonight. Good job. It was fun going through that, so I appreciate your work on that. That's my only report. We'll go then to item 16, advanced planning. Our next regular scheduled board meeting is November 21st, right back here in this room. Item B, the 12-month board calendar is there for you to review. Item C, suggested future agenda items. Mr. Reed, would you like to add the Folsom High, what would you like to name that?
Well, I'll just give it broad. I'll just simply call it secondary boundaries for high schools. Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it.
Okay. Is any objection from the board about adding that to future agenda item? Not hearing any. Superintendent Swanson, though, you're good on that?
We got it,
Okay.
absolutely.
Great. Any other future agenda items a board member would like to?
Yes, Mr. President, I'm looking at the legislative action information on land trusts. The legislative committee did meet last Tuesday. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend. I had other commitments. However, they are still in discussion, so hopefully we can move that later in the year or middle of next year.
Great. All right. Yeah, thank you for that update, Mr. Clark, and we'll have that.
Yeah, I believe that we'll just keep it at the TBD until you have an update for us, and then we'll schedule it. We'll
Sure.
agendize it.
Yep.
Okay,
Great.
perfect.
Okay, I'm not hearing any others. Mr. Reed?
Yeah, I was wondering, and this actually ties into the land transfer, about the possibility of some type of legislation that we could promote, either with CSBA or independent of CSBA. But earlier in the year, we talked about other ways we could highlight the Native American community. And obviously being, as Mr. Clark pointed out, Native American Heritage Month, you know, some of the things that we had discussed was having some K through 12 curriculum. And I think I was told it was in development, but I'm kind of curious the status of that development. You know, we talked about could there be groundbreaking and ribbon cutting ceremonies? And we didn't, with Alder Creek, we didn't really get a ceremony, if you will. I don't even know if we approached them about a ceremony. We've talked about potential of a memorial of some sort, the land transfer, and even the land acknowledgement statement. You know, I had suggested, could we have that framed in every single lobby of the facilities in the district? And to best of my knowledge, I don't think that's happened either. And even the land acknowledgement statement that's being read, I'm not sure if it's being done with fidelity at our 37 school sites. So I'm wondering, is there an opportunity to have this put back on the agenda so that the board can have a full conversation?
What would be the specific? There was a lot, so I just.
Well, I guess we'll just.
Curriculum?
Yeah. I mean, I think they all kind of go together, so I don't know what you would call it.
Maybe a follow-up with NAPAC.
Yeah, I
in
was going to
terms
say if
of
we can include
just
NAPAC.
future, like what that could look like. So just a follow-up with NAPAC regarding land acknowledgement.
Yeah, and I think they had like a list of items that have been in discussion, and so maybe reviewing that list again and, maybe where we're at on each of those items that were on the list, maybe like whether it's in process or we haven't approached it yet, or, and especially as we're going and talking about groundbreakings on future schools in the near future, that we have like a solid plan so that it doesn't get away from us when we come up to that point of like, what would that look like, so that it's kind of like in motion as we're like building the schools out. Because I don't think, I think we wanted to do it at Alder Creek, but it could be that we were just kind of late in the game for that. So I just want to make sure that we don't like let that opportunities pass by, kind of a thing.
I'm just wondering from the board, what I'm hearing, I think, is that there would be more of a preference to make that a discussion item rather than an information item.
Yes, definitely discussion rather than information.
And what I can do too also is I attend all the monthly NAPAC meetings, and Dr. Anna Pease facilitates, and she does an amazing job. And there has been lots of forward motion. They now have a dedicated room at White Rock Elementary. So a lot of the things, Trustee Larrett, that you're saying are being checked off, but I can provide that in writing to you guys so you have that. But then also we'll bring it back as a discussion item and we can open it up. Is there anything, Dr. Huber, that you want to share right now from Trustee Reed's questions, like around the curriculum? I saw you nod, so
No, just about everything that was listed is in process, but it is a process. And so there are, some things will take longer than other things, in terms of where we're at with the signage to where we are in terms of what curriculum that we already have in place, but what could be added, because it was a specific ask to add some more curriculum to TK all the way up to 12th grade. So, but that is a process. But all of that, like you said, through Dr. Peace's work, is being worked on.
So we'll bring it back as a discussion, but I'll get something in writing to you guys soon that has all this stuff information, so you can see the incremental growth that we're.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not hearing any others from the board. That would then bring us to item 17, recess to closed session. We did finish our business in the first closed session, so we have no need to go to that item, which brings us all the way down to item 21, adjournment. Unless I'm hear any objection from the board, we will adjourn. Hearing none, we are adjourned.